The power of thought. You demonstrate success or failure according to your habitual trend of thought. In you, which is the stronger, success thoughts or failure thoughts? If your mind is ordinarily in a negative state, an occasional positive thought is not sufficient to attract success. But if you think rightly, you will find your goal, even though you seem to be enveloped in darkness. You alone are responsible for yourself. No one else may answer for your deeds when the final reckoning comes. Your work in the world, in the sphere where your karma, your own past activity has placed you, can be performed only by one person, yourself. And your work can be called a success only when in some way it serves your fellow man. Don't mentally review any problem constantly. Let it rest at times, and it may work itself out. But see that you do not rest so long that your discrimination is lost. Rather, use these rest periods to go deep within the calm region of your inner self. Attuned with your soul, you will be able to think correctly regarding everything you do. And if your thoughts or actions have gone astray, they can be realigned. This power of divine attunement can be achieved by practice and effort. Will is the dynamo. Along with positive thinking, you should use willpower and continuous activity in order to be successful. Every outward manifestation is the result of will, but this power is not always used consciously. There is mechanical will as well as conscious will. The dynamo of all your powers is volition, or willpower. Without volition, you cannot walk, talk, work, think, or feel. Therefore, willpower is the spring of all your actions. In order not to use this energy, you would have to be completely inactive both physically and mentally. Even when you move your hand, you are using willpower. It is impossible to live without using this force. Mechanical will is an unthinking use of willpower. Conscious will is a vital force accompanying determination and effort, a dynamo that should be wisely directed. As you train yourself to use conscious, not mechanical will, you should also be sure that your willpower is being used constructively, not for harmful purposes or for useless acquisitions. To create dynamic willpower, determine to do some of the things in life that you thought you could not do. Attempt simple tasks first. As your confidence strengthens and your will becomes more dynamic, you can aim for more difficult accomplishments. Be certain that you have made a good selection. Then refuse to submit to failure. Devote your entire willpower to mastering one thing at a time. Do not scatter your energies, nor leave something half done to begin a new venture. You can control destiny. Mind is the creator of everything. You should therefore guide it to create only good. If you cling to a certain thought of dynamic willpower, it finally assumes a tangible outward form. When you are able to employ your will always for constructive purposes, you become the controller of your destiny. I have just mentioned 3 important ways to make your will dynamic. 1. Choose a simple task or an accomplishment that you have never mastered and determine to succeed with it. 2. Be sure you have chosen something constructive and feasible. Then refuse to consider failure. 3. Concentrate on a single purpose, using all abilities and opportunities to forward it. But you should always be sure, within the calm region of your inner self, that what you want is right for you to have, and in accord with God's purposes. You can then use all the force of your will to accomplish your object, keeping your mind, however, centered on the thought of God, the source of all power and all accomplishment. Fear exhausts life energy. The human brain is a storehouse of life energy. This energy is constantly employed in muscular movements, in the working of the heart, lungs, and diaphragm, in cellular metabolism and chemicalization of blood, and in the carrying on of the work of the telephonic sensory motor system, the nerves. Besides this, a tremendous amount of life energy is required in all processes of thought, emotion, and will. Fear exhausts life energy. It is one of the greatest enemies of dynamic willpower. Fear causes the life force that ordinarily flows steadily through the nerves to be squeezed out, and the nerves themselves to become as though paralyzed. The vitality of the whole body is lowered. Fear doesn't help you to get away from the object of fear. It only weakens your willpower. Fear causes the brain to send an inhibiting message to all bodily organs. It constricts the heart, checks the digestive functions, and causes many other physical disturbances. When the consciousness is kept on God, you will have no fears. Every obstacle will then be overcome by courage and faith. A wish is desire without energy. After a wish may come intention, the plan to do a thing, to fulfill a wish or desire. But will means I act until I get my wish. When you exercise your willpower, you release the power of life energy, not when you merely wish passively to be able to obtain an objective. Failures should arouse determination. Even failures should act as stimulants to your willpower and to your material and spiritual growth. When you have failed in any project, it is helpful to analyze every factor in the situation in order to eliminate all chances in the future that you might repeat the same errors. The season of failure is the best time for sowing the seeds of success. The bludgeon of circumstances may bruise you, but keep your head erect. Always try once more, no matter how many times you have failed. Fight when you think that you can fight no longer, or when you think that you have already done your best, or until your efforts are crowned with success. A little story will make this point clear. A and B were fighting. After a long time, A said to himself, "I cannot go on any longer." But B thought, "Just one more punch," and he gave it, and down went A. You must be like that. Give a last punch. Use the unconquerable power of will to overcome all difficulties in life. New efforts after failure bring true growth, but they must be well planned and charged with increasing intensity of attention and with dynamic willpower. Suppose you have failed so far. It would be foolish to give up the struggle, accepting failure as the decree of fate. It is better to die struggling than to abandon your efforts while there is still a possibility of accomplishing something more. For even when death comes, your struggles must soon be renewed in another life. Success or failure is the just result of what you have done in the past, plus what you do now. So you should stimulate all the success thoughts of past lives until they are revitalized and able to overrule the influence of all failure tendencies in the present life. The successful person may have had more serious difficulties to contend with than one who has failed, but the former trains himself to reject the thought of failure at all times. You should transfer your attention from failure to success, from worry to calmness, from mental wanderings to concentration, from restlessness to peace, and from peace to the divine bliss within. When you attain this state of self-realization, the purpose of your life will have been gloriously fulfilled. The need for self-analysis. Another secret of progress is self-analysis. Introspection is a mirror in which to see recesses of your mind that otherwise would remain hidden from you. Diagnose your failures and sort out your good and bad tendencies. Analyze what you are, what you wish to become, and what shortcomings are impeding you. Decide the nature of your true task, your mission in life. Endeavor to make yourself what you should be, and what you want to be. As you keep your mind on God and attune yourself to His will, you will progress more and more surely in your path. Your ultimate purpose is to find your way back to God, but you also have a task to perform in the outer world. Willpower, combined with initiative, will help you to recognize and fulfill that task. The creative power of initiative. What is initiative? It is a creative faculty within you, a spark of the infinite creator. It may give you the power to create something no one else has ever created. It urges you to do things in new ways. The accomplishments of a person of initiative may be as spectacular as a shooting star, apparently creating something from nothing. He demonstrates that the seemingly impossible may become possible by one's employment of the great inventive power of the Spirit. Initiative enables you to stand on your own feet, free and independent. It is one of the attributes of success. See the image of God in all men. Many people excuse their own faults, but judge other persons harshly. We should reverse this attitude by excusing others' shortcomings and by harshly examining our own. Sometimes it is necessary to analyze other people. In that case, the important thing to remember is to keep the mind unprejudiced. An unbiased mind is like a clear mirror, held steady, not oscillating with hasty judgments. Any person reflected within that mirror will present an undistorted image. Learn to see God in all persons, of whatever race or creed. You will know what divine love is when you begin to feel your oneness with every human being, not before. In mutual service, we forget the little self and glimpse the one measureless self, the spirit that unifies all men. Habits of thought control one's life. Success is hastened or delayed by one's habits. It is not your passing inspirations or brilliant ideas, so much as your everyday mental habits that control your life. Habits of thought are mental magnets that draw to you certain things, people, and conditions. Good habits of thought enable you to attract benefits and opportunities. Bad habits of thought attract to you materially minded persons and to unfavorable environments. Weaken a bad habit by avoiding everything that occasioned it or stimulated it, without concentrating upon it in your zeal to avoid it. Then, divert your mind to some good habit and steadily cultivate it until it becomes a dependable part of you. There are always two forces warring against each other within us. One force tells us to do the things we should not do, and the other urges us to do the things we should do, the things that seem difficult. One voice is that of evil, and the other is that of good, or God. Through difficult daily lessons, you will sometimes see clearly that bad habits nourish the tree of unending material desires, while good habits nourish the tree of spiritual aspirations. More and more, you should concentrate your efforts on successfully maturing the spiritual tree, that you may someday gather the ripe fruit of self-realization. If you are able to free yourself from all kinds of bad habits, and if you are able to do good because you want to do good, and not merely because evil brings sorrow, then you are truly progressing in spirit. It is only when you discard your bad habits that you are really a free man. Until you are a true master, able to command yourself to do the things that you should do but may not want to do, you are not a free soul. In that power of self-control lies the seed of eternal freedom.